Hey everyone, welcome back to another great week on So You're Ready to Date podcast. Today we are going to get way back to the basics that we haven't talked about in a little while. We're going to talk about dating profiles and setting up your profiles and talking about how to answer those pesky prompts when you are filling out your dating profile. Sometimes it can be highly uncomfortable to talk about ourselves and to talk about and to answer those questions in a way that is going to lead to the results that we want. So today we thought we would dive in and talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah, this is one where I feel like maybe sometimes men bear the brunt of not doing so great, but this is an equal opportunity offender. Women are just as often not hitting the nail on the head when it comes to answering prompts in a way that shows to the person that you're trying to attract something about you. It's almost like it's an advertisement of yourself. And so when you answer these questions in a way that shows off you and your personality, hopefully that draws in the people that you are actually hoping to connect with, attract, bring in.
So my partner and I met off of a dating site. I don't remember which one off the top of my head, but I remember it had hundreds of questions, hundreds of them that you went in and you filled out. A lot of them were yes or no, some of them were essay, but your basic profile really has the same basic questions. And what attracted to me to him initially in his profile was number one, he had a picture that was not in front of a bathroom mirror. And number two, I see you laughing. But number two, he basically said, I'm just looking for somebody to go out and do things with. I want to hang out, I want to get out, and I want to go do stuff. And those were the first two things. And my response back to that was, hey, do you want to go do stuff? And he said yes. And here we are 5 years later. So sometimes it's that simple, but really keeping it positive and talking about what you do want versus what you don't want is a huge seller on those apps. We all know what people don't want and what you don't like, and the people who have those things either don't think that they're like that, or they don't care that you don't want that. They're going to be who they are. So keep it positive, I think, is like the main thing, and that's what really attracts me to people on dating profiles too, is when they keep it positive.
I think the big one is the about me, because that tends to be the one where everybody is saying, if you are this, I don't want this and I don't want that. Okay, I get that, but that tells me nothing about you. This whole about me is supposed to be, okay, this, I like to do this, or I have kids, or filling in this information about you. Because if you're telling me all the things you're not looking for in a partner, well, first of all, I'm probably going to swipe because I'm like, that just reads weird, like unrelated. You're not dealing with your healing process, but it doesn't tell me why I should swipe on you. That about me is that first initial thing that somebody's going to see. Why should I want to swipe on you? And it won't be the picture of you holding a fish. It won't be that shirtless gym selfie. It won't be the one with all the bros and I can't figure out which one you are because you're all wearing a hat and a jersey or whatever it is. Tell me why I should take a chance and swipe on you. That's what your about me is. Tell me like your funniest story or the goofiest thing or something you're nerdy about. But this is your chance to sell me on why you're a good swipe.
Also, when you're talking about that, so you're talking about the why are you a good swipe? Why do I want to do that? Right? If that's what's going to attract me to you, it should, in my opinion, it should contain maybe some of the things that you're most passionate about. So I like to travel. If I were going to fill out an about me section, I would definitely mention travel, because if somebody who doesn't like to travel but likes all of this other stuff about me but isn't going to travel with me, ultimately that's not what I'm looking for. So I definitely want to put some of my biggest passions on that about me section so that I'm attracting somebody who is also interested in those particular things so that we have that in common and can go do it together.
And like you said, because I met my I don't even know what to call him. We haven't fully decided what we're calling each other. So the boy, we'll just call him that for right now.
There you go.
We met on a dating site as well. And I know that there are so many opportunities to, like Angie said, pick from a vast variety of prompts. There are now voice prompts. Use those. That's a great way for somebody to hear your voice. A lot of them will let you put videos as well. So if you play a sport or an instrument or do something that's fairly active, then put it out there in a video and be specific. I see a lot of people like, if you like nerd culture or you like sports, okay, that's awesome. But I'll like you if you cheer for this team. It'll be questionable if you cheer for this team. Or when you're talking about nerd culture, that's a big, broad thing. Are we talking Marvel, Lord of the Rings, Star Trek, Star Wars? Be specific about what you're really interested in, because if you're a Star Trek and I'm a Star Wars and you don't like the other, that's still nerd culture, but it may not be a good love match because it's not quite the nerd culture you were looking for. Here's the thing. If you feel like you can't answer a question honestly and with a little bit of humor, with a little bit of style, pick a different prompt. I think there's like maybe basic things that you have to fill out, like name, age, a couple of those things. But for like 99% of your profile, you have complete control over this. Pick prompts that you want to answer. I feel like I can't stress this enough, because if you're picking just the first 3 that come up, then that's the kind of answers you're going to give. Well, I don't know how to ask this. I don't know how to do this. Then take some time. If you're just, I'm equal parts passionate and frustrated by this, because I see it as such a missed opportunity for people to connect, because you're not taking this seriously. You're not taking it as if you're trying to find your person, then yeah, you should be answering prompts in a way that the person scrolling by is like, oh my gosh, I think she's talking about me. That's what I want for you, is that somebody stops being like, I think she might be actually talking about me, and want to click on your profile and start this messaging process. See if it really is as good as you think it's going to be.
Yes. And, I get very passionate about what I do want versus what I don't want. So yes, I get equally passionate about this missed opportunity, because who are you? And this isn't about who the other person is that's coming to you. They're out there already looking for you. So they don't need to know if they're right for you. They need to know if you're right for them. And so because it's a give and take and you both get to decide, but you're going to decide if she is right for you based on her profile. And and I'm talking to all the guys out there, so vice versa, whatever. It's if the other person is right for you based on their profile, and if you're right for them based on your profile, is going to be something I get to choose if you're the person that I want to engage with. And I'm going to pick that by you telling me about yourself, not telling me what you want to find in me. No, if you're looking for a high quality, high caliber person, they are going to know what they bring to the table. They don't need you to tell them what they're looking for. They're going to go out and they're going to base that based off of who you are, not who you tell them they need to be.
Kind of feel like that's okay. Stop, take a moment, go back and listen to that again, because it all really, I suppose, depends on what you're looking for off of the dating apps. If you're looking just to hook up, then by all means, put that out there, say you won't do this, this, and this, and let it be that. But if you are looking for that special relationship, if you are looking for a high quality person, then yeah, it's going to require that you put in the effort that shows that you are high quality, because you're not going to attract that person, male or female, if they can't see that you're high quality. It's one of the things that actually has come up several times in this new relationship I'm in, is that he was looking for somebody high quality. I am high quality, but he also showed that on his profile. And when we started talking, and it became more apparent, but yeah, you can find a lot of F boys and F girls if that's what you're looking for. But if you want something that's going to be meaningful and lasting, you need to approach those prompts as if you are going to be talking to this person that you want. And what would you want them to know about you? What's important to know about you? Because this is how they're going to reach out to you. That's how I answered a lot of my prompts when I was on the apps was, how can I answer this in a way so that if somebody is scrolling by, they can, when we're chatting back and forth, have that great opening prompt? Not that you always have to do it, but that's a great way to be like, oh, I see she's got an interest in underwater basket weaving. I can do that too. Where has she done this? So it's a way to open up conversation by either saying, hey, I have this in common, or I've always wanted to try it. What's been your experience? This is a way for the lines of communication to open up and for you guys to see, hey, is this a match, or is this maybe just, oh, it was a cute little thing on the app and I don't think this is for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're thinking about that when you're filling out those profiles, you're kind of skipping that super, super introductory conversation, that first date conversation. And when you think about how you would engage in that first date conversation and that small talk, what are the types of answers you would give? Because keep in mind, these are the questions. If you were going out on a first date, what do you do? Who are you? What do you like to do? What do you like to spend your time doing? What are your hobbies? What are your favorite activities? Tell me about your family. Those are the things that these prompts are asking you. So how would you answer that if you were out having small talk with somebody, getting to know somebody on your first date? That's the way that you can answer these prompts. So if you're having trouble finding those positive ways to answer those prompts, think about what you would say if somebody was sitting across the table from you and having that conversation.
Or this is where you rope in your bestest, most trustworthy friends and say, I need some help. I've done that in the past too, being like, I don't even know where to begin talking about this. Can you help me? And inviting in the people that know you the best to help craft something that, like, and just highlights the nice attributes about you, highlights the good things, the things you want somebody to know about you. If you're struggling, if you're stuck, you bring in the support and you're like, I need some help, but not the people who are going to, turn around and put something out there that you don't, the friends. We're always trying to joke around and be smart asses about it. But no, finding those people who are going to be genuine and be like, yeah, how can we pump you up? How can we make this a profile that people want to check out and learn more about you?
I think I think about it like a resume. If you were applying for a job and you were putting your resume in front of an employer and you put on your resume, I don't want a job where my boss is going to micromanage me, and I don't want a job where there's no advancement, and I don't want a job where you're not giving me all of this stuff. Do you think that you would get an interview? That's what your first date is an interview, right? Your profile is your resume, your first date is your interview. So how are you going to get that job interview? You are going to sell yourself and say, I am a hardworking individual and I do this amazing work and I have this skill and this skill and this skill and this talent and this talent and this talent. And you're going to pump yourself up on your resume. And Lisa, I love it. But like you said, if you are not capable of pumping yourself up and bragging on yourself a little bit, because this is an opportunity to be bragging and confident, not arrogant, but confident. We can talk about the difference between arrogance and confidence if we need to, but being confident in yourself. If you can't do that, go hire a professional. You would hire a professional resume writer to help you. You can hire your friends to come over and help you write confidently about yourself, your skills, and your talents and your hobbies and your interests and all of the great things about you, because you're here, you're human, and you are an amazing person.
And no prompt is permanent, I think, except for the about me. But there's usually a minimum you have to fill in. So sometimes it might be picking the easy ones to get something out there, give yourself some time to think about it. But if maybe as you get into this process, the prompts you've picked aren't attracting the people you want, then using that always as this way of like, am I getting a good return on this particular prompt? And knowing that, hey, sometimes I know I've done that, given it like 3 or 4 months, have a few nibbles, nothing really comes, like maybe it's time to refresh. So we've talked about like refreshing our photos and some of that, but prompts are always a great one that be like, okay, I need to refresh this again. I need to go back in and maybe change an answer, maybe clarify something, or they're always adding prompts all the time. Take a moment, take a look through them. Is there something, a prompt maybe that stands out a little bit more now? We're like, oh, I feel better equipped to answer this prompt now. But again, this is your resume. This is why I want to go grab coffee or have a drink or be in public with you. So this is your chance to really tell me why this is going to be worth an hour or two of my Saturday evening or Sunday morning, whatever it's going to be. Take that opportunity to be like, yeah, this is why I'm awesome. And this is why you'll want to date me.
I love it. And so I'm going to go harp on this one more time because some people can't seem to figure out how they can. Everybody can. But some people are having a difficult time figuring out how to avoid those what I don't want. The next thing I would suggest, if we're looking at getting rid of what I don't want on your profile, is to take those things. Okay, I don't want somebody high maintenance. So what do you want? You want a carefree and laid back person to be in a partnership with. That tells me a little bit about who you are. It tells me what you do want, and it tells me what to bring to the table or what type of personality you're looking for. And even just that little shift going from what I don't want to what I do want, because for every I don't want, there is an opposite I do want. And if you focus on what those I do want, even that's going to help your profile, even if you're still not focused on yourself and you're still focused on the other person and what they're bringing to the table. That's going to shift it enough that you're still going to get different responses because you're shifting it from a negative connotation to a positive one.
That's a wonderful way to look at it and to ask yourself, all right, I put all those don'ts out there. How's that really working for me? Are people matching? Am I getting anything from that? So is that working? Is that getting you any closer to what you really want? Probably not. So finding that way, like Angie said, to flip it. And even if you don't necessarily put it in your about me, but taking the time to be like, I turn all my don'ts into do's. Okay, how can I put that maybe out there? So maybe you do put that in your about me. I do want somebody who is independent. I do want somebody who has conservative values, whatever it might be, but making sure that people can see in themselves what you're looking for. So there's this idea that when you're putting the don't, that people are going to like self-qualify and just take them out. But I think we're to this point where people see enough, I don't want this, I don't want that. And they're like, I'm not even going to read the whole thing because I already know what kind of person this is. And they're probably not very happy and they're not really in a place to maybe be in a relationship. So you move on. But putting it in the space of, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I do want, maybe that'll slow people down enough to be like, oh, well, I do want that too. And I want that too. So finding that space of how can people include themselves in wanting to be with you as opposed to exclude themselves from your potential dating pool.
I love it. And so if we were to build on that idea and take that a little bit further as including, so I want somebody who is laid back and carefree because I tend to be low stress and low maintenance. Talking about yourself, like you can qualify why you want what you want, which then fills in your about me and tells all about yourself and why you want what you want. And once you take those I don't want, turn them into I do want, and then you say, why do I want that? And you can describe why you want that. Suddenly you are talking about yourself.
and voila. It just magically fixes itself. And all it takes is just a little introspection, just a little bit of work on your part to hopefully flip it to a point where it feels like Angie said, you're talking about yourself, but still telling people what you're looking for and hopefully inviting that in. So I'm curious to see if anybody out there can send us the best prompt response that they've had. If you've been out on the dating apps or if you've seen something on the social media, email it to us so that we can have a chuckle too. And we're going to talk about dating stuff more. We're working that into the seasons because we kind of got away from it. We're coming back because it's a lot of fun to talk about the dating process, but we want to hear your best prompt response and maybe your funniest prompt response. Those are always good. What do I want to say? Education and help for others. So as they're going through that process. So email those to us at soyou'readytodate@gmail.com because we're always looking for inspiration as to help people make their dating profiles the absolute best they possibly can be.
We will be back next week with another great episode. So tune back in, join us, and we can't wait to hear from you.